Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are in this event, The Power of Networking. I would like to kick off this event by introducing myself. My name is Shakti Radhakishan, which I will put in my name momentarily. Shakti Radhakishan. I'm an ICF South Florida member. I am hosting this event with the presenter, but I've been a member of ICF South Florida for about 1.5 years now. I am a relatively new coach. I come from the banking and finance field, and kind of accidentally found my way into coaching. I say accidentally, I very intentionally went into coaching, but more because I wanted to pick up the skills of coaching to take back into my profession. And in the process, I really enjoyed it so much, and it resonated so wonderfully for me that I decided to just kind of go that way and see how things go. So in the process, I have one of the big things that is opening up for me is how being a coach is really all about your being. And so I've really delved a lot more into doing mindfulness practices, and then that is extending into everything else in my life.
Is it me, guys?
Sorry. So that's me. Can you hear me, Carmen? Oh, oops, something's happening.
Did it freeze, or was just me?
I think it was you.
Okay.
I don't know. Does everyone else get that, or was there a freezing? No? Okay. All right. So that's a little bit about me. I will hand off the introductions to Carmen.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the introduction of who you are, because it's important for us to know everybody. We have such a small group here. I do want, before I introduce and we kick off the whole topic today in the conversation, I wanted, and I hope everybody can hear me well. Let me know, because there's something that's happening with the internet. Okay, so if you guys are okay, and you can turn on your cameras. If not, no problem. But I would like to give the opportunity before I start for everyone to introduce themselves. Maybe like who they are, the company they represent, or their own company, a little bit about them. And maybe a fun fact, anything that you can, that you want to say and you want to share here. I think it's a great opportunity. I mean, we're going to talk about network, so why not use this space here today? And by the way, what a great event throughout the week, FYI, right? So many opportunities, so many conversations, so many conferences and meetings that we had the opportunity to network. But if we're talking about network today, shall we just try it a little bit and have this opportunity? So do you guys want to get us? Are you guys okay with it? Does anybody want to start? Yeah, maybe. Coco, you want to start? Or Ale?
We can start. So I'm Ale Jungerman. I have a dual role. I'm a coach, but I also work in digital transformation capability in a bank. So Shakti, let's exchange impressions after all. And as a fun fact, I have a third career, which is kind of dormant, unfortunately, but I'm also a circus artist. I'm specialized in clowning and juggling, more clowning than juggling, actually. But much of my learnings as a clown, I can apply to coaching. So even if I'm not on stage, I'm still using some of the techniques I've acquired in my practice in coaching. So happy to talk more about that. It's a combination of two passions of mine.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Does anybody want to go next?
I can go next. Well, my name's Coco Duan. I just gave my notice to my full-time employee this week. And and I'm leaving 9 to 5 and just focus on coaching, because I've been doing it as a side hustle for the past 1.5 years. And fun facts. I have a lot of hobbies. So this year, I've taken 3 trips so far. And first trip to Salt Lake City, snowboarding. And then the second trip to Buenos Aires, tango dancing. And then I just come back from Nicaragua surfing.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Anybody else want to share?
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley, and yes,
Go ahead, Shelley.
Shelley.
yes, and I am a leadership coach, and I work with individuals like Coco, who are, I don't know if she's midlife yet, but who are frustrated in their career goals. They're successful corporate executives. They are a little bit nervous about jumping out and making that leap that Coco did so well. Those are the persons that I work with to help them through that, because I've been through it. I really don't do midlife crisis as in that hot flashes. Those hot flashes, I don't, but otherwise, I help individuals make that step, that transition into what they're doing, what they always want to do. And a fun fact is that I'm a writer. I love writing. I publish many books, again, on leadership and stuff like that. So that's me, Shelley C.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you for sharing. Marina, yes.
I'm Marina Calaijian. I'm from Argentina, Buenos Aires. So I really amazing for me to hear that Coco was here. She came down all the way down here to just to dance the tango. I am a psychologist and I am a coach. I do kind of executive coaching and career coaching. And I also work as a career guidance for teenagers when they want to pick their major. Pardon my English, because it's not my mother tongue. And the fun fact is that I love singing, and I sing in a choir. We sing religious songs in Armenian and Latin.
Nice. Thank you so much, Marina. Thank you for sharing. And I know Sarah just joined, but we were just introducing ourselves a little bit about, what careers we have today, and a little fun fact, no pressure, but if you want, before I start. No? Okay.
Hi, I'm calling in from Milwaukee. I'm a certified coach. Fun fact, I'm an open water swimmer.
Yay. Well, thank you so much. So part of this network journey. Oh, did I miss anybody? I don't see anybody else. Thank you so much, Sarah. No, right? Yeah. Okay. So part of this fun activity that, we just use this space here for introducing ourselves. I have a lot of things in common. I also work in the banking industry and career coaching, and I'm from Argentina, and so there's a lot of it's a great opportunity. But I do want to continue this, if you guys don't mind. I would like to take a picture of our chat, and I'm going to post it on LinkedIn and tag each of you so that we can continue tagging and continue this journey of networking together. So cameras up, faces up, and let's smile for the camera. Let me see. Control out. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So I'm going to tag. I'm just going to post it. And part of this connection that we continue to have. So thank you so much for sharing, everyone.
Can you take it again? I'm not sure if I was on at the time.
Yeah,
Sarah,
absolutely.
Sarah
Okay.
jump in
Command shift number 3. Everybody ready?
We have Sarah off camera, so I'm not sure if Sarah had a
I
chance to
think she
introduce.
was on a phone. Sarah, you're on the
Okay.
phone still only?
Got it.
Yay. Okay. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much for being part of today. Before I get started and kind of like kick off, and I have to be very careful with time because time is of essence of my blabbing, but I want to introduce myself. First of all, my name is Carmen Spangaro, and I am the founder and owner of Ask Carmen. Our main goal is career coaching, and our mission is young adults for not only career development, career coaching, but also mentoring. Young adults and beyond, because now we have a range of clients, but that's our focus because our mission, and Marina is going to say that I'm crazy, but our mission is really to reach 1 million young girls and boys and well, everyone. I forget, I didn't want to say that. Young individuals or young professionals with a toolkit of their first job. So everything they need to get in the first job or starting their career. So we want to reach as many people as possible in a very young age to be prepared for the workforce. So that's our mission. But definitely my focus is really on career coaching, career development in that coaching space. And I'm so honored to be part of this ICF Florida chapter, which I will soon, hopefully, as soon as I get my membership sorted out, I will be part of and joining you as coaches, fellow coaches in this journey for our careers, right, as coaches. So I'm glad to hear that a lot of you and myself have a lot in common. However, I do want to take the space and opportunity to acknowledge the content there is. Before we get in a little bit more in depth of me sharing a little bit about my experience or my tips in terms of networking and the power and the influence of networking can have in your personal and professional careers, I do want to acknowledge the amount of content there is. Now, I have my favorites, of course, who doesn't, right? You have maybe favorite podcasts, YouTube, TED Talks, books, and everything that you might have in your coaching space as the type of coach that you might be or might be developing into. But I do want to acknowledge so many content is out there and the number is immense. And the reason why it's so important, right? It's every day and it's so important. It's in every conversation that we are talking about networking and the beauties of it. I can just recall, is it last week, I was listening to YouTube, I think it was a TED Talk that was telling me, well, the audience, right, of how to physically stand when you are going and being part of a networking event physically in a group. How clearly I was doing it all wrong all these years, but how to physically stand in terms of welcoming people as you are in groups and talking and communicating and, being, connecting with fellow, members that are part of that event. So just from standing to talking to tips, I mean, networking is a conversation that everyone's having. So in our call today, in our session today, I would like to ask for your participation. And because I'm here not only to give what I know and my experiences that I have in the past, personally and professionally in terms of networking, but I also want to take the opportunity to listen to you and to learn from you and to see your experiences and to see what your thoughts are in terms of the whole concept of networking. So please interrupt me. Please talk over me. Please unmute your lines and let's have just a candid conversation about networking and the power network that it has to you, whether it's in the past or whether it's going to be in the future. Is that okay with everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring a little bit, and remember, I'm also in the journey, just very simple, like the same way you are, Coco, as you transition now in this huge career move, is to try to pick up a little bit about, why did I pick this topic so important? Why is it for me? But also what it would be, right? What does it mean for all of us as coaches? And how does network play in terms of that creative process, right? So when you talk about, let's say, give me a second, let me rephrase my words here. But when we talk about the coaching process, and we're talking about it as a creative process, whether you're coaching for careers or other types of coaches, we are untapping in terms of imagination, productivity, and leadership. And this was the ICF mission statement. So this is what I'm reading, right? The content that's being led to me and I'm being immersed to. I was trying to pick out really how your network, today's network, and the power of your network, people that you're connected to, people that you have a connection or you have a relationship and so forth, can foster, support, and contribute and maximize your own potential, personal and professional potential. So when we talk about the whole coaching process and you're coaching as a company or as a coach, how does the network influence you, impact you, and really support you and maximize your potential exponentially to the next level? So with that said, I want to come to the next slide here. And this is a definition that I got in terms of actual networking. But before we go into the definitions and I want to ask you, how do you feel about networking? we have a South Florida, Miami Beach. You just mentioned there's a Palm Beach activity now that's a physical face-to-face networking activity event. How do you feel? I don't know who's going to it. I am. But how do you feel if on any other networking event? Do you feel comfortable in those environments? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Do you get energy from it? What is your initial thoughts when we say, go do networking? You need to network. I just want to hear a little bit, and obviously I can share my stories, but I want to hear, like, is it normal for everyone here? Am I just the only one that feels a little bit, uncomfortable at times? Any thoughts?
Yeah. So I come to the US 17 years ago for business school. And as some of you know, right, business school, there's so much networking, and even I was just the first couple months, and I barely even know what business is all about, and they're just always encouraging us, go to this networking event, go to that networking event. And to be honest, I hated it. It was so awkward. That kind of networking was so awkward, just walking into a room of people I didn't know anyone, and then everyone like huddle in their own little circle, and I don't even know what's the right timing to get in, right? It just, some of the conversation just feels like really hard to engage. So I really avoided those type of networking event. And so overall, like, networking just have a very negative.
No, I totally agree. I echo.
Yeah.
But I echo you. I echo those words. Anybody else want to share? And Shelley, yeah.
Sure. In my case, I was vice president for the Hospitality and Human Resource Association of Broward County for about 4 years, 3 to 4 years, different capacities. I've been really out there, but I'm always organizing the meetings and getting the speakers and so on. After COVID, in December last year, I made up my mind from beginning up to last year that I was going to throw in the towel. I was going to give it up. And so now I've done that. My last meeting that I had was in January of this year. So I did that. Then now what I'm on to is to take off my hat. Now I'm in the room as just a member, but I'm there now. So I'm able to now present myself. Most of them may not know this Shelley that they should know, because I was always on the other side chairing the meetings and stuff like that. So no, it's different for me. So I have to get used to being now the other person that they can share and say, okay, this is what Shelley really does, evolving from our HR role.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing. Anybody else want to share anything? It's it's different, right? You're now in a different position. It's uncomfortable. It's icky. For me, it could be fake, right? There's all these like negativities or different like challenges, I would say. And it's forced, right? It's not natural sometimes, or most times it's not natural. So what I wanted to do is just give you guys like a sample of my experience as networking, and is that professionally where I sit today in terms of my first career, similar to our Clown Alley, is that I have 3 careers too, but my first one, from the 10 previous jobs I've able to obtain, 8 of them were obtained through networking, just networking. I didn't even apply, just that. So it gave me a boost, right? It gave me that opportunity. Networking also gave me the opportunity to come here to this forum, right? And speak to you and share my thoughts and do that. So for me, it's always a positive connotation, right? A positive reaction. But personally too, right? I don't know about you guys, but personally, my network, like, oh man, I need a gardener. Who has a gardener that can trust? Okay. So the network provided me also, some help there personally and professionally. But I wanted to switch off and tell you that those are just some maybe positive, but the actual intent, right? So in terms of intent, when we talk about intent is, what if, and I'm just giving an example, you go into those meetings, whether they're in the past, how for you in terms of the 17 years ago, but now is that you go with a different intent. Your mindset intentions is not what I'm gonna get, but really what can I give? If your mindset is that, does it feel maybe there's less pressure on oneself to achieve whatever they want to achieve in that space, right? So it's really that process, but definitely the networking is critical. It's, you know, as we all do it. Now, the next slide here, guys, I'm not promoting and I don't work for LinkedIn. However, from a networking perspective and the power of networking, how many of you guys are on LinkedIn today in terms of any profile? Everybody? I can't see their hand, assuming yes, maybe. So I think we're all on LinkedIn. So perfect. So clearly we all know the impact it has on our careers as coaches in terms of being able to use this platform in order to reach out to so many connections, right? And everyone has their position there. Right now, stats show 900 million members on this platform, 900 million. So getting your next client, whether it is a client from a coaching perspective, or whether it's an event for you to perform as a clown, as a performer, whether it's Marina's opportunity to sing to a different community, whatever it is that you're trying to satisfy, you have 900 active members that are going to be able to, you can reach out to, and vice versa. So I just think that this is just one of the examples, many more. I'm not promoting this one. Well, I kind of am, but that's just my personal opinion. But I'm saying there's so many platforms that you can tap in to utilize as a tool for your networking. Now,
may I ask you something?
Absolutely.
I'm really curious, especially starting my presentation with a disclaimer that I'm a digital professional. Do you see much differences in between networking using online tools or networking in person?
So in my personal opinion, because obviously I'm always talking just about me, is the answer is going to be yes. Personal contact, face-to-face, you mean, right? Mm-hmm. Is that? But there's studies that show, and they continue to show, that this visual, you and me talking like this with the camera on, with our face-to-face interaction, is just as effective, specifically after all our experiences. We all have 2 years of Zoom or any other platform, has that trigger. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I would say that definitely human face-to-face, having a coffee, having that face-to-face, you cannot replace it, but you're pretty much very good, close enough to this Zoom. And now we live in such a global community with such diverse, it's really going to be hard to do so much face-to-face. So I don't know if that answer, and please share anyone that might have a different thoughts and opinions on that.
Thank you.
I think Shaki mentioned it at the outset. It's so nice to see all of you persons who have been here in sessions after sessions and so on. So I guess it backs up what you're saying, that though we're virtual, we're able to meet each other and see some familiar faces.
Exactly. Yeah. And Ale, just to complement what Shelley's saying is that I work remote for the last 20 years of my career, and I've had no issues or challenges, but it takes a lot more effort. But yes, for me, I think it's just as productive. It's just how you do it. What's your intent?
Yeah. And I also, I'll share just my perspective is I love the in-person connection. And I think there's a huge value there. And I think that what the virtual networking potential allows, if you do it in a way that is serving you, right, that is really, I think that is the key, Carmen. But I think if you do it that way and you make the connections and you can then pivot to something where there's a potential for a personal. I got my coach training virtually. And so everybody that I met in the coaching world, I met virtually, and they're all over the world. And now I have a group of 5 or 6 people that we are co-working together on a weekly basis. We have a very deep connection with each other. And one of the big things that I really want to do with them is connect with them in the next 12 months in a live place where we all live all over the world. But I'm sure we can find a way that we can go to some kind of conference or something that serves us from a professional perspective and allows us to actually connect humans face-to-face. And I think it's nice also to put that energy into that. And it brings more creative things to
It's so interesting because while I was listening to all of you, I think the kind of awkwardness that was mentioned kind of vanishes in an online environment, because since you have the screens kind of mediating, it's easier for you to be less embarrassed, and that's my personal take. I love interacting with people. I talk, I explain, but that introduction face to face in the real world, I'll probably be way more embarrassed or shy than I was here. I don't know if it's because I'm in my own environment, if it's because you are only seeing me like a talking head, like a TV host with kind of a distance. But again, I do love interacting with people. It takes effort, I'm not gonna lie, but once I realized that, I just landed the job I'm in a network event, because I went there, I gave myself the challenge to be there to present myself, and I met a headhunter, and that guy happened to have the position I'm currently in, and I was looking for a job, so I had to do something, but it wasn't comfortable, but it is necessary. So I don't know, I've been working virtually for like forever, and now after 11 years working fully remote, I'm going to an office environment, and I must say, I need to readjust. Let's leave it like that.
Absolutely.
I need to readjust from not wearing a t-shirt for lunch rituals, for I'm used to having coaching things and my daily job things happening at the same time in an office environment. I need to be a bit more cautious of that. Not because I'm doing anything wrong. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, but I don't know what people will think. Here, I'm by myself, I can kind of manage. So it's interesting, this kind of learning how to behave in the real world. Again, especially after the pandemic, everything changed. So
I totally echo those sentiments. And to be honest, there was a post that they posted, I think it was yesterday, it was like, hybrid is the perfect combination of both worlds. And so I think it's true. I think it's true. And it's true.
It was Adam Grant who posted
yeah, that's
it.
the one. You saw the post too. Okay.
well,
I saw it.
here's the guy. On the other hand,
Yeah.
I saw a cartoon that says, "Hey, why do I need to work on the office if it's just taking my computer to another place? Why cannot I
have to share that with me? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I tried to find. I don't know exactly the phrasing, but that was the concept. Like remote work, it doesn't make much sense for anyone to go to office only to turn the computer in another place other than home.
Well, I beg to I would challenge that by saying there is a movement and a spatial differentiation that, to me, I know adds a huge value that I miss now that I am no longer going into an office. There's a huge value there. So there's a lot of, I think that's why hybrid is another keyword.
I totally agree. But if that value happens, like people interacting, the water cooler talks, that things that are outside of the computer, it's fine. But I'm experiencing, not all the time, but I'm experiencing going to the office and having people in the same room connected over Teams or Zoom to conduct meetings. So what's the point?
Yeah, but let's just circle back into this one, right? So we're talking about remote work, which is one aspect, but how remote work and with the networking. And I think that the power here to bring this back is that what's the intentions, right? If your intentions is to go and sit in a room siloed and closed off and do your work, which is great, or your intentions there is perhaps, hey, I'm going to go into the space, forget about work, right? But I'm going to go into the space, whether it's an event, whether it's a community business chamber of commerce event, whether it's a volunteering to your local church or community. I'm going to go to the TED with what? What's the mindset intentions? To learn, to maybe provide speech, maybe to volunteer, to give. And maybe which you will most likely, you will receive that same positive reaction. But your intent is not to go and ask for a job. Your intent, I'm giving you an example. Like, your intent is to go and say, example, Marina, I love what you're doing with that local community singing event. I would love to listen more about what you're doing and how you got there. The intent is to learn, to maybe educate, and then by the way, this is what I'm interested in. Thank you so much. Can we connect again? Creating that relationship, that bond, that intention is networking. And it doesn't feel so icky. It doesn't feel so fake. It's genuine. And so that's kind of like what I'm trying to change my mindset and sharing with you guys my experience. Now, focusing a little bit about networking is, how many of you, if you look at your phone, you look at your LinkedIn profile, you look at your connections, everyone has over 500 people. Do you know 500 people? I don't know 500 people. I don't know what their kid's name is, their dog's name is, if they're sitting today in this job. So I'm wondering, how many do we know? Now, that's not to dismiss that we listened earlier this week, and if you haven't done so, there was a great presentation on branding and international speaker. Please listen to that one. It talks about branding and self-branding yourself as a coach and as a leader and as a speaker. And I agree with what he was mentioning, which was, yeah, you have to create that buzz, you have to create that network, you have to create that I guess the volume, right? The brand, create the brand. And that involves a lot of people knowing you, people speaking for you, that people that you know, like him with Elon Musk. I don't think he knows who Elon Musk is and what he eats at night, but yeah, he was part of an event, and that creates that buzz about him and that brand. I totally agree with that, and use those platforms for that. Totally agree. But who are the people that you call? Who are your allies in your list of networks? I am a strong ally of the LGBTQIA, because now there's more letters to that. So I'm not part of the member, right? But I'm an ally to them, to this organization, to this community. So I'm an ally there. Who's my ally? Who's marching on my name on Ask Carmen, career coaching and mentoring? Who are my mentors? I have 5 today for different reasons. It's part of my network. And what I'm going to go through here, some examples, I want you guys to share yours if you want, is really, it's not built in a day. This is decades of reviewing, addressing. It's a family. Your network is a family of professional, personal, where you can grow, you can develop and learn. Mentors, I have 5. One person that tells me how to create my own business. And when I started LLC, what do I do? Is it a nonprofit? Score? Oh my God, I need someone that knows more than me that can mentor me on that. Coaching. Who are your coaches? No offense, but when I was young, the only coach I had was my volleyball coach, my soccer coach, and that's all I knew. As I grew up, and I love this organization, ICF, and all the organizations and communities that go about it, is coaching is essential. And now we brought it up to this big arena and platform of coaching. Who are your coaches? We just spoke just before DEI coach. What? I need someone to help me with that. So in terms of coaches, who are your coaches in your network community, in your network arena? And sponsors, like maybe you, Coco, but I was sponsored to come to the US for employment. I'm now American, but I was sponsored. Someone sponsored me. Someone drove and was able to help me and support me to bring me to this company, to this country, and help me fulfill my dreams, career-wise, at that time. Now, who are your sponsors? Or who would be, or would you like to be your sponsors? So what I'm trying to just dictate, and I don't know if this might be something that's repetitive to you, you might already know this, but for me, what I bring here and in this space is the importance of each of these, I would say, each of these roles in your network. So out of the 500 people or more that I know in LinkedIn, there are those that fulfill this role. And they're strong and they keep on developing as time goes because they keep changing as time goes and as you grow in your career. Does anybody want to share their thoughts and theories about this? Anything else that you guys think? Because for me, I believe all of them are equally as important. For me, the most difficult and challenging is a sponsor because you have a lot of body in terms of, sponsorship comes with a whole body of work and commitment. But from the other sense, anyone want to share any great mentors or anyone that they want to share how they got it or what role they play for them?
In my experience, if I can just kick that off real quickly, I'm noticing that whenever a lot of what you're saying, it goes to intention. What is the intention behind this little thing, right? All these different aspects that make us the whole person that we are, or the whole business that we are, or whatever, from whatever perspective you're thinking. So as I've noticed, as you're saying this, that I have very dedicated people for each different aspect. So I have my coactive community where I can go to for coactive support when I really need to delve into something that goes to my, coactive training or coaching. Then I have the ICF community where I can delve into other things. Then I have the mindfulness and community or, yoga, all that stuff going on. Then I have people in my personal life that serve another need, but all of these needs are all connected to one another. And they all serve me every single day of the week in showing up in the whole day from the moment that I wake up to the moment that I go to sleep and everything that I do. So I think that when I think of my network people and I try to think of it from that very specific perspective, it makes it very easy for me to recognize who I need to go to for what and how people are showing up for me or how I need them to show up for me and kind of create that network of allies that I need in my life.
Thank you so much for sharing, because that echoes exactly, and you said it beautifully. And the other way that I want to just pivot from that is think about how you are also portrayed in these roles, right? Who are you an ally to, and are you at all? Who are you mentoring? Who are you coaching, because it's our business, right? But that's a little bit different nowadays. But also, who you're coaching, and who are you sponsoring also the future generations within your field and spaces. So it's definitely a give and take as well. While we project a little bit about the how, right? So if we know what is important, how do I get there? So I don't know, have you guys ever heard of the Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation? You have? Oh man! So I was not the only one. I was like, what? This? Okay. So, anyways, do you want to explain it better than me, Alex?
Yes, I can explain. And it's funny. It's funny because a friend just mentioned it to me yesterday. I knew for longer than that, but I was having a conversation about I was talking about going or not to an event, and the friend would say, "Hey, you should go." And say, "Hey, I'm tired. I'm kind of lazy to go beat the traffic 95 for those who are from the area." So, and he said, "Hey, do you know Kevin Bacon 6 degrees of separation?" I said, "Yes." So he said, "Well, that's why you should go." But long story short, the theory, if you will, is that we are connected to anyone else in the planet, or probably outside of the planet, with only 6 degrees of separation. So you can think about anyone, and within six connections, you're gonna virtually reach out to anyone you can think of, from Kevin Bacon to Joe Biden to
Exactly.
I don't know, so someone in the Middle East.
That's exactly it. And I think that the beauty of this is that research talks and tells me, at least what I read, is that it used to be 8 degrees. I think most of us heard the word 8, the letter, the number 8. 6, this one came out as a game and it became popular. Even Kevin acknowledged it in his Instagram. But in reality, from a networking perspective, it's actually 4.6, I think.
Oh, I didn't know that.
With the whole movement of technology and the beauty of why we're all here is that it obviously incremented exponentially that number of degrees of separation, simply because now, like, I found out I had, relatives in Italy, things like that, right? So LinkedIn, Facebook, call it what you are. So this is I just want to show you guys the visual that when you're thinking about who you want to fulfill those roles in your network, whether it's personal or professional, it's not that far off that you're going to meet them. So if anybody here likes Elon Musk as an example, right? Or I don't know, I don't know, anybody that you guys want to meet, I can probably assert that all of us together would be able to reach that. Together, through all our networks, we're going to be able to reach whoever it is and the community around it. So I think it just tells us a little bit about hopefulness in a way, right? And what I wanted to show next is two ideas in this image. This image, well, a version of this image was, go for it.
Sorry, real quickly, Carmen, are you moving your pages around? Because I haven't seen it move. I don't know if that's just me.
Is it Kevin Bacon now?
Yes,
No.
it's Kevin Bacon. For me,
Oh,
yes.
I don't, must be me then. Okay, go ahead. Go right ahead.
And now it's
Yes.
kind of rocks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me know. And some on the rock side. So
Dragon Rock.
there's,
Dragon Rock.
yeah, the vows. So there's two. I want you to look at this image, and this was presented to me years ago, and I saw this, like, I have to put this on to you guys. But this image for me represents two things. One is, forget about the top part, think about the bottom, the balance in the rock, right? The balance. So do you have a balanced network? So when Shanti was talking about that she has one that fulfills each one, she is really, she has a different community that fulfills different things. What about you? Have you considered that? Is it balanced enough?
What do you mean by balanced?
So-
which criteria are you using to assess the balance?
The assess of balance is to your satisfaction. So
Okay.
if you look at the list of all the people that you that you have a connection with, that you know well, do you have everyone in your community, in your network, that satisfies all your needs and wants? Personally and professionally.
I totally understand the concept. I just think, yeah, you should multiply that question is, do you have a balanced network for that specific need you have right now? Because needs will change over time. So my network might be balanced for one need and not balanced for another one.
Absolutely. And it's your priority list, right? So for instance, today I have an urgent need to find a nutritionist because I need to get healthy. So I'm going to focus on that and maybe not something else personally, right? And then professionally, I need to start up my company. So I probably need a mentor, sponsor, everything to start up my company or do my taxes and, all the needs, right? So, but do you have that balance of what your objectives are today, what you're looking for to accomplish today, both personally and professionally? So for instance, if you're starting up a company, and this is just my opinion, right? And I like the way you said for your needs today, right? Because today, my connections of 500 or 5 will change. Tomorrow, my needs will change, right? Today, Coco, your connections of your corporate responsibilities and organizations were some. And today, with your starting a new chapter, you're probably going to be branching out to a new set of organizations, individuals, professionals to help you support your journey in that. Does that make sense, Ali? Does that end yeah, right?
Yes,
So
totally.
balance of the type of connections. So even though, for instance, or do you have the allies that will support and prompt for your business? Do you have sufficient balance in terms of the mentors and coaches and sponsors that you need? I'm not saying you need to have all of them, but I'm saying, did you consider the balance of all of them? And the type and the quantity of each, right? Does that make sense?
It does.
And then in addition to that, on the top is, would you rather talk to Elon Musk, or would you rather talk to the security guard of Tesla headquarters?
Well, depends on what I need.
If you want to work for Elon Musk, how fast? Wait, let me answer your question right now. So definitely you can work your way up. I get you. but it would be faster to go directly. And I'm not talking about a job or that. I'm just giving an example, hypothetically. So sometimes the investment of who you are selecting as, for instance, a mentor in your network, you want to consider that. It's the weight of one person versus things. Let me give you another example. If you're going to every single networking event just to go, what's the purpose? And that's like the balance. That's what I was trying to illustrate here in terms of like selection of the weight of your decisions, your intentions, of who you're selecting and what you're doing from a networking perspective. The balance.
Carmen,
Yes.
sorry, we're getting, it's 2:51. I'm sorry to.
Okay.
we're
So
kind of,
so I just closed up and I wanted to, obviously here was talking about identifying the names, setting attentions, putting a plan and executing, but I wanted to thank everyone for your active participation. Thank you so much for the opportunity for me to share my knowledge, but I learned a lot more than what I shared, so I appreciate it. And I'll definitely be posting that and tagging all you guys. I hope I can get the names and your LinkedIn profiles. And we hope that we can connect very, very soon in another networking activity or hopefully face-to-face tonight. So thanks so much and have a great evening.
Carmen, I'd love to have to keep this conversation happening. So maybe since we both are in Miami, we can meet face to face.
You're not coming tonight?
Unfortunately not.
Huh. I wanted to see you in the
I've tried up to the last minute, but I'm in Broward County and there's no way I can be in Miami-Dade or Palm Beach. I was counting to the event happening in Broward, but apparently something happened that we only have, we are caught in between.
It's extremist. I'll see you soon, Ale, and thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Shank.
thank you everyone for being here. We look forward to meeting you and seeing you in the next meetings.
Thank you.